The company that tracked both U.S. carriers. On February 24th, 2026, a Chinese commercial geospatial intelligence firm called Misar Vision made its first post on X. The company is headquartered in Shanghai. It describes itself as specializing in satellite imagery. Analysis in geospatial intelligence. According to Air Mag's reporting, it joined X in January 2026, less than 5 weeks before the United States and Israel launched Operation Epic Fury against Iran on February 28th. In the days leading up to and during the operation, Misar Vision published a continuous stream of annotated satellite imagery to X. The imagery covered American military assets across the entire region of operations. Among the assets catalogued and publicly posted, USS Gerald R. CVN-78. MizarVision stated its satellites continuously tracked the carrier following its departure from Souda Bay, naval base in Crete. Images posted on February 26th showed FA-18EF Super Hornets and E-2D Hawkeye airborne early warning aircraft staged on the flight deck. Source: Flight Global, March 3rd, 2026. USS Abraham Lincoln, CVN-72. On the same day, MizarVision posted photos of the Abraham Lincoln appearing to rendezvous with a resupply vessel in the Arabian Sea off the coast of Oman. Separately, using open-source flight tracking combined with commercial satellite imagery, MizarVision tracked a U.S. Navy P-8A maritime patrol aircraft from Isa Air Base in Bahrain to the area of the Arabian Sea where the Lincoln operates. The aircraft is suspected of providing protection and defense for the Lincoln, MizarVision concluded in its annotation. Source: Flight Global, Air Mag, March 3rd, 2026. Ovda Air Base, Israel. On February 27th, MizarVision posted, satellite imagery shows the U.S. military continuously transporting supplies to Ovda Air Force Base via C-17s. During the same period, 7 F-22s were parked on the tarmac, and 4 F-22s were spotted on the runway. Operation Epic Fury launched approximately 24 hours after that post was published. Source: Flight Global, Air Mag, March 3rd, 2026. Al-Udeid Air Base, Qatar. MizarVision posted imagery of the positions of Patriot air defense batteries arrayed around Al-Udeid on February 28th. Al-Udeid is the largest U.S. military installation in the Middle East. It was subsequently struck by Iran in drone and missile attacks during Operation True Promise 4. Source: Flight Global, Air Mag, March 3rd, 2026. Prince Sultan Air Base, Saudi Arabia, tracked. Diego Garcia, photographed. MizarVision posted imagery of Diego Garcia on the same day it tracked the fort in the Mediterranean. The runway showed U.S. F-16 fighters, KC-135 tankers, C-17s, and a C-5 Galaxy. Source: Air Mag, March 3rd, 2026. Flight Global's reporting stated directly, a number of the facilities and assets posted by MizarVision were subsequently targeted by Iran in missile and drone strikes. The outlet noted it was unclear if the Chinese imagery of American troop movements was used by Tehran to support its missile and drone strikes across the Middle East. The Maritime Executive went further in its March 3rd, 2026 report, describing MizarVision as clearly a Chinese government-front company based on its operational profile. No owned satellites, no charge to end users, CCP subject jurisdiction, and launch timing 1 week before Epic Fury began. What MizarVision actually is. Source dispute. MizarVision's relationship to the Chinese government is contested in reporting. The factual elements are as follows. Confirmed. MizarVision is a private company headquartered in Shanghai. All Chinese companies are subject to Chinese Communist Party directives under Chinese law. MizarVision only joined X in January 2026. It does not operate its own satellites. It uses AI processing applied to commercially available imagery. Source: Air Mag, Flight Global, South China Morning Post. Confirmed. A MizarVision representative identified only by the surname Wang told South China Morning Post that the company's image sources are diverse and included both Western and Chinese commercial entities. Wang called the company's work normal in commercial operations that aligns with international standards. Source: SCMP, February 2026. Contested. Hu Bo, director of the South China Sea Probing Initiative and research professor at Peking University's Center for Maritime Strategy Studies, told the Pekingnology newsletter he was 100% sure the imagery released by MizarVision originated from US and European satellites, not Chinese ones. Hu said this could be confirmed by the satellite Ephemeris, matching image timestamps and resolution profiles to known satellite orbital data. He stated the resolution profiles matched Vantor, formerly Maxar Intelligence, and Planet Labs, U.S. commercial providers. Source: Pekingnology newsletter, approximately March 3rd, 2026. Unresolved. Whether any MizarVision imagery was directly provided to Iranian targeting systems before strikes. Flight Global stated explicitly this was unclear. Maritime Executive assessed it as likely. No official U.S. government statement has publicly attributed Iranian strike targeting to MizarVision imagery as of March 7, 2026. The causal chain, MizarVision posts, then Iran strikes the same location, is documented. The mechanism connecting the two is not confirmed in public U.S. government statements. What is confirmed, MizarVision's account went live in January 2026. It published continuous, publicly accessible, annotated imagery of U.S. military assets throughout the pre-war buildup and the war itself. It tracked both U.S. carriers. It published Patriot battery positions at Al-Udeid. Al-Udeid was subsequently struck. The imagery was public and available to any actor monitoring X. China's BeiDou navigation system replacing U.S. GPS in Iran. The GPS transition is a documented, confirmed fact with a specific timeline. During the June 2025 12-day war between Israel and Iran, Iran's military infrastructure suffered a critical vulnerability. It was dependent on Western-controlled GPS for drone and ballistic missile targeting. According to The Week, India, March 6, 2026, widespread GPS jamming by the United States and Israel during that conflict drastically reduced the accuracy of the Iranian strike packages, and he enabled Israeli jets to fly over Iran almost unopposed. The GPS disruption also paralyzed approximately 1,000 civilian and military vessels, agricultural precision systems, and critical logistics infrastructure inside Iran. By the end of the 12-day war, Iran had formally deactivated GPS reception nationwide. But, as the week's analysis stated, by then it was already too late. The response was systematic. According to The Week, India, Daily Sabah, and Special Eurasia, Iran formally completed its military transition from GPS to China's BeiDou 3 navigation satellite system on June 23, 2025, switching off GPS for both civilian and military applications. A memorandum for BeiDou access had been signed in 2015 and later institutionalized through the 25-year Iran-China Comprehensive Strategic Partnership Treaty, ratified in 2021. Under that treaty, Iran gained access to BeiDou's encrypted high-precision military-grade signals, not just the civilian-tier navigation available to general users. BeiDou 3 is China's global navigation satellite system, equivalent in function to US GPS, but operated under Chinese state control. Unlike GPS, BeiDou 3 includes a short message service that allows command nodes to communicate even if local communication networks are disabled or jammed. Special Eurasia's March 3, 2026 analysis cited this feature specifically, noting it ensures Iranian command nodes can maintain communication during active electronic jamming, the exact condition that degraded Iranian performance in June 2025. For Operation True Promise Ovda, Iran's retaliatory strikes in late February and March 2026, Iranian drones and missiles were navigating with BeiDou 3 rather than GPS. Whether this improved their accuracy relative to June 2025 is not conclusively confirmed in public reporting as of March 7th. What is confirmed? The system was in place, Iran was using it, and the United States no longer controls the navigation infrastructure Iran's military uses. The YLC-8B anti-stealth radar China supplied Iran with the YLC-8B radar system. This is confirmed by Special Eurasia, Modern Diplomacy, and the journal Neo-SU Battlefield Analysis published March 2, 2026. The YLC-8B is a UHF band ultra-high frequency radar designed to detect low observable stealth aircraft. UHF band radars use longer wavelengths than the X-band and Q-band radars typical in fire control systems. Longer wavelengths can interact with stealth aircraft in ways that reduce their radar absorbent coating effectiveness because the stealth geometry is optimized against higher frequency radar. This makes UHF systems useful for detection and cueing, identifying that a stealth aircraft is in a general area, even if UHF resolution is typically insufficient for precision weapons guidance, at the same fidelity as fire control radars. Special Eurasia described the YLC-8B as providing Iran with the capability to negate the radar absorbent coatings used by U.S. stealth bombers and fighters, including specifically the B-2 and F-35. The journal Neo.SU analysis cited a Chinese military specialist, Fu Chenshao, described as a former Chinese Air Force analyst, noting that Mossad's accomplishment in establishing operatives inside Iran and crippling its radar and air defense systems was a new pattern of intelligence warfare. China's response to that assessment included supplying the YLC-8B as part of its technology anchor role for Iranian air defense. The U.S. flew approximately 30 F-35s and about a dozen F-22s in Operation Epic Fury, according to Air and Space Forces magazine's March 1, 2026, reporting on the weapons used. CENTCOM confirmed B-2 bombers struck deeply buried targets throughout the campaign. Whether the YLC-8B affected the performance of those platforms during the conflict is not confirmed in any public U.S. government statement as of March 7, 2026. CENTCOM's public reporting assessed Iranian air defense as significantly degraded within the first 48 hours of epic fury. What is not confirmed is how much of that degradation was a pre-war U.S. strike priority, specifically because of the YLC-8B capability. The CM-302 supersonic anti-ship missile deal documented facts. This is the most extensively documented element of China's military support to Iran and has the clearest potential implications for U.S. carrier operations. The source? Reuters reported on February 24, 2026, that Iran was close to finalizing a deal with China to purchase CM-302 supersonic anti-ship cruise missiles. The report cited 6 people with knowledge of the negotiations, including 3 officials briefed by the Iranian government and 3 security officials. The Times of Israel, Newsweek, Fox News, Maritime Executive, Asia Times, Army Recognition, and China Global South Project all independently reported on the Reuters findings. The negotiations. Talks began at least 2 years before the February 2026 Reuters report, placing their origin no later than early 2024. The negotiations accelerated sharply after the June 2025 12-day war between Israel and Iran, which, according to Reuters sources, left Iran's military infrastructure strained and created urgency for replenishment and modernization. As talks entered their final stages during summer 2025, senior Iranian officials traveled to China, including Masoud Orayeh, Iran's deputy defense minister. Orayeh's visit was confirmed by 2 of Reuters' security sources and had not been previously reported by any outlet. The weapon. The CM-302 is the export variant of China's YJ-12 anti-ship cruise missile. According to the Missile Defense Advocacy Alliance, the CM-302 carries a 500-kilogram warhead, reaches Mach 3, and has a range of 400-460 kilometers, depending on variant and launch platform. The missile uses inertial guidance augmented by satellite navigation for mid-course flight and active radar homing in the terminal phase. Critically, it performs evasive maneuvers in the terminal approach, complicating interception. China's state-owned China Aerospace Science and Industry Corporation markets it as the world's best anti-ship missile, capable of sinking an aircraft carrier or destroyer. The Times of Israel reported this CASIC marketing claim on February 26, 2026. Army Recognition assessed that the CM-302's supersonic terminal phase threatens to punch through defenses that were optimized for slower subsonic sea skimmers. Danny Citrinowicz, a former Israeli intelligence officer and now senior Iran researcher at Israel's Institute for National Security Studies, told Reuters, "It's a complete game changer if Iran has supersonic capability to attack ships in the area. These missiles are very difficult to intercept." RUSI's Dr. Alessandro Arduino told The National, "We are talking about a game-changer missile system. It is a supersonic cruise missile, meaning that it goes at normal missile speed. Then nearby the target, it increases the speed to supersonic, making it very difficult to intercept, especially if you have a barrage mixed with drones." The deal status as of March 7, 2026. Global Defense Corp reported on March 7, 2026, that China had secretly supplied Iran with $5 billion worth of weapons in an oil-for-weapons deal, including 50 CM-302 anti-ship missiles, 6 HQ-16B surface-to-air missile systems, 500 FN-6 man-pads, 3 HQ-9B anti-ballistic systems, 4 YLC-9B radars, and 20 HQ-19 anti-satellite interceptor missiles. This report is sourced to Reuters and cannot be independently verified by this script, beyond that attribution. China's foreign ministry told Reuters it was not aware of the original negotiations. The White House did not directly address the deal when asked. One technical caveat. Global Defense Corps' March 7th report, citing weapons experts, noted that the ground-launched CM-302 lacks a data link, satellite link, or active guidance at the terminal phase in its export configuration, receiving only a single tracking update at launch, and then operating without continuous radar data. If accurate, this would limit its effectiveness against maneuvering warships compared to its marketed capability. Army Recognition's more detailed technical assessment presented a more capable picture based on YJ-12 family architecture. The discrepancy between assessed and marketed performance is a standard analytical uncertainty in evaluating Chinese export weapons. The embargo question, the potential transfer of CM-302 missiles to Iran, would violate United Nations weapons embargo provisions that were reimposed on Iran in September 2025. Global Defense Corp noted this directly in its March 7th report. Peter Wesemann of the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute told Reuters the deal would represent a significant improvement in an Iranian arsenal depleted by last year's war. Whether China proceeded with delivery during the current conflict has not been confirmed through independent verification as of March 7, 2026. The broader China-Iran technology pipeline MizarVision, BeiDou, YLC-8B, and CM302 are 4 documented components of a broader China-Iran technology relationship. Additional elements confirmed in reporting during the current conflict period include Chinese military personnel in Iran. U.S. Senator Roger Wicker stated in early March 2026, according to EA Daily, that Chinese military specialists were in Iran testing Chinese missile systems. Wicker framed Iran as a testing ground for Chinese weapons, analogous to how Ukraine functions as a testing ground for Western weapons against Russian systems. This is a political assessment from a U.S. elected official, not an independently verified intelligence finding, but it was made on record and publicly reported. Wing Long's CH series drone question. The Middle East Eye reported that China sent drones to Iran during the conflict, though without specifying models. Drone XL's March 1st, 2026 analysis assessed the most likely candidates as Winglong or CH series reusable strike UAVs or loitering munitions. As of the Drone XL report, no wreckage with identifiable Chinese markings had appeared in credible reporting. This element remains unconfirmed in terms of specific systems and quantities. Khayyam satellite. Iran co-developed the Khayyam satellite with Russia, based on the Russian Canopus V imagery satellite. Maritime Executive's March 3rd report stated the Khayyam and Canopus V satellites have been operated as a single constellation, providing access to approximately 1 meter resolution. Imagery with visits to any specific point of interest roughly 4 times daily. Maritime Executive assessed this constellation as useful but adequate for precise targeting of static targets, such as embassies and refineries, but requiring supplemental real-time tracking for maritime targets. BeiDou intelligence. Integration. Special Eurasia noted that BeiDou 3's short message service allows Iranian command nodes to communicate during active electronic jamming. The week, India noted that this addresses the specific failure mode that degraded Iranian operations in June 2025. The combination of BeiDou navigation and Chinese-supplied radar systems creates an integrated sensor-to-shooter architecture that is not dependent on Western-controlled infrastructure, a structural change in Iran's military capability since the last conflict. What the intelligence community and U.S. officials have said, U.S. Senator Roger Wicker's March 5th statement on Chinese military personnel in Iran was carried by EA Daily without attribution to a second U.S. source. This is one public U.S. official statement. CENTCOM's public reporting on Operation Epic Fury has not, as of March 7th, 2026, specifically addressed Chinese intelligence support to Iran's targeting, the BeiDou transition's effect on Iranian strike accuracy, or the CM302 deal. CENTCOM has addressed Iranian missile and drone threats in general terms, noting Iranian Shahed drones were so far the most dangerous threat per U.S. sources cited by Critical Threats Project on March 2nd. The Pentagon has demonstrated awareness of the broader satellite tracking problem. According to Air Mag's reporting, the Pentagon used operational deception during the 2025 Operation Midnight Hammer B-2 strikes, implicitly acknowledging that adversarial satellite observation of U.S. force movements was a planning factor. Whether specific countermeasures were deployed against MizarVision style tracking during Epic Fury is not confirmed in Publicum reporting. The net confirmed picture as of March 7, 2026. China provided Iran with BeiDou military-grade navigation access. China provided YLC-8B anti-stealth radar, a $5 billion arms deal including CM302 missiles, was reported by Reuters, 6 sources, and subsequently by global defense corporate MizarVision, tracked both U.S. carrier groups, published their positions publicly, and tracked assets that were subsequently targeted by Iran. No U.S. official has publicly confirmed a direct causal link between any specific Chinese action and specific Iranian targeting outcomes. The timeline, the technology, transfers, and the confirmed tracking activity are all documented. The operational connection between them remains, as of this writing, partially in the domain of assessment rather than confirmed fact. Sources used in this report: Flight Global, Air Mag, Aeronautics Magazine, Maritime Executive, Deccan Herald, South China Morning Post, Pekingnology Newsletter, The Week India, Daily Sabah, Special Eurasia, Modern Diplomacy, Drone XL, EA Daily, Reuters via Times of Israel, Fox News, Newsweek, Maritime Executive, Asia Times, Army Recognition, China Global South Project, Global Defense Corp, Air and Space Forces Magazine, Critical Threats Project, Journal Neo.cu.